what everybody else got to say. If you constantly got your eyes on what everybody else doing, you ain't getting no money. When it comes down to closing a deal, I get it done. Every single one. I'm the certified deal closer.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Coinology. And I'm here with none other than Miss Kiana Dancie.
Hey, sis.
Hey, so glad to have you here today.
You know, it is fantastic to be here, and it's amazing to be seen because, you know, I could be dead, you know.
Girl, you here?
They dropping dead around us, so I'm
Everywhere.
grateful to be here.
Yes. For those who don't know, and I think most will know, Kiana Dancie is a former talk show host.
Yes.
Actress.
Yes.
Speaker.
Yes.
Activist.
Yes.
Business owner.
Boss lady. Yes.
And a national comedian.
Yes.
Because I met you in the space of comedian.
Yes.
I remember going to some shows here in Atlanta, and I would see you on stage, and I'm like, "Who? She is hilarious."
Thank you.
Hilarious. You didn't look the same then when I first met
What
you.
I look like, girl?
You were, quite a bit heavier, right? You lost a lot of weight.
When did you meet me?
I want to say it was probably about a decade ago. It's been a long time.
Okay.
You lost a lot of weight. You look really good.
Well, thank you. I think I may have picked it up a little bit
No.
more.
No. You look good.
Thank you,
No,
ma'am.
you did lose a tremendous amount of weight, didn't you?
I don't know about tremendous, but I definitely lost maybe 20 pounds, 25 pounds.
That was it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been as small as a 6 and as big as a 16. And right now, sis, I'm at a 12.
Okay,
so,
but
or 10.
when I first met you, I think you were probably the 16. And then when you went away, I went away, and then I saw you again, and you were probably a 6.
Who knows, child?
But regardless of the fact, you look amazing.
Well, thank you, baby.
Look
So do
amazing.
you.
Look amazing.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm grateful to be here.
And now the thing about it is, I said I met her as a comedian.
Yes.
And then I found out you were also a business owner,
Yes.
franchise business owner, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, how many facets do you have, Kim?
You know, it's so much to me, and I appreciate you even bringing that up because during that time when you met me, 10 years ago, I was still just a comedian, and I won't say just a comedian, but I also was a real estate agent.
Okay.
I'm a real estate agent in 2 states, Texas and Georgia. I believe wholeheartedly that you have to have multiple streams of income. It's important because you never know what's going to happen. Hence, the pandemic shut all of us down as a stand-up comedian initially, right? And so we had to figure out what we're going to do. So many of us had to pivot. So I would say I operate on somewhere in the realm of 10 different jobs or career facets or income streams. So, I'm always working.
Girl, you have to have huge confidence to be a comedian, right?
You do.
Huge. Let's go back and talk a little bit about Kiana. Kiana, where are you from?
I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I was born in Cleveland, but let's be clear here. Girl, I was born in Cleveland, but I don't go home that often. Okay. I go home when people get married or buried.
That's
you hear
it.
me? That's it.
That's it.
My mother is here in Atlanta, Georgia, and so I consider home where mama is. So this is home. So
Only child?
No, ma'am. I have a brother. He's 14 years younger. I'm sorry, 14
Okay.
years younger than I am. Child, she didn't plan that boy.
So you were like an only child then?
Forever.
Yes.
And then she had him. I was like, ma'am, what you doing? It was a whole thing because it was always mommy and me. And then when she had my little brother, I was literally distraught. And then I started falling in love with having someone and having a little kid. Then I fell in love with him, I guess. But that was my baby. I get on his nerves, but that is my brother. I love him.
Now, did you go off to college?
Absolutely.
What was it?
So I went to Georgia Southern University.
Okay.
Yeah, I went on a scholarship.
Oh,
and
so you're smart.
I am smart, honey.
Okay.
She's pretty funny and smart. I went to Georgia Southern University, and I'll be honest with you, I was not the class clown. I wasn't like always telling jokes. I was crowned drama queen in high school.
Okay.
I've always been in the industry to some capacity.
Okay.
When I was as a child, I was a catalog model.
All right.
Yes, from the JCPenney's to the Sears. And then, I tap danced. I played chess. I was an African dancer in the African dance troupe. I was very, very busy all the time. My mother kept me occupied. But yes, I went to Georgia Southern University and did not know what I was going to graduate to be.
Okay.
I graduated with a degree in marketing, but who knew that I was going to be a stand-up comedian?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, you publicly talked about some of your childhood trauma, right?
Absolutely.
So you did you live with your mom and dad at that time?
No.
Okay.
No.
So to bring everybody up to speed, Kiana's very open and honest about her childhood trauma.
Yes.
Being molested as a child.
Yes.
So, how did you tell mom this is what happened to me?
So, it's interesting that you would even bring that up because as a child, I had an amazing childhood. An amazing, like I said, I played chess. I was loved by all of my family. I had my father in my life. I had a stepfather in my life, and my grandfather was in my life. So I didn't have, in my opinion, any voids, right? I was molested at 6 years old. It was just one time, inappropriate touching, no penetration. Okay. But I was at daycare. I went to Collinwood Daycare Center, and there was a police officer there talking about inappropriate touching. And I've always been very, very outspoken, very, very assertive, and someone even say at this age aggressive, right? I have always been able to speak my mind, so much so they call me radio. They would say, cut radio off, cut her off, cut her off. She talked too much. And so on this particular day at Collinwood, her name is Miss Fadia. I would never forget my teacher.
Okay.
She was orchestrating this meeting with the police officers, and the police officer was talking about inappropriate touching, and he said, if it ever happens to you, you should say something immediately. And I didn't hesitate. I was like, me, it happened. It's going, it happened one time. I don't know what to do. And my teacher was kind of taken back, and I didn't say it in front of everyone, but I did pull her aside and tell her.
So you knew that it was wrong?
No. I don't know if I necessarily knew it was wrong in the moment. I think I was brought to know that it was wrong once the officer
explained what it was.
Yes. Now, understand, when you are molested or raped or anything of that sort, right? Oftentimes, the person that is doing it to you will threaten you and your family. So I absolutely was threatened. I was told that if I told anyone that they were killed, he would kill my mother or he would kill my family. So I, have always been very protective of my mom. So I didn't want anything to happen to my mother. And at the time, he was my mother's boyfriend. And let's just be clear, he wasn't someone who had just come in my life. He had been in my life for a very long time. So it wasn't someone that I just met, or someone my mother just met. It wasn't like a troth or a gang of men running in and out of my house. Honestly, I only seen my mother with 3 guys in my whole entire life. It was a trusted person. It was a trusted person. And that is what's most important to understand, that oftentimes the person that is molesting or have molested you or have accosted you is someone close to you. And it's usually, and my mother said this, she said, because she brought it up, she said, well, why haven't you talked about this on your show when I was on TV, National Syndicated Talk Show, Sister Circle? And I said, well, I didn't want anyone to judge me. I didn't want anyone to judge you. I didn't want anyone to think that you were a bad mom. And she said, let me correct you. First of all, I did not serve you to the monster. The monster was always there. Who knew? And so with that being said, I want people to understand that oftentimes the monster could be living in your home. The monster could be sleeping in your bed. The monster can be your sister, your brother, your uncle, your aunt, your father. The monster can be your mother. The monster can be the mailman. It can be someone that you see on a consistent basis. It can be someone that you drop your kid off with all the time.
So you tell Officer Friendly.
I tell Officer Friendly. And I actually tell Miss Fadia first.
You tell Miss Fadia first?
Miss Fadia, yes.
And then at that point, did Miss Fadia tell your mom?
Yes, we called my mom immediately.
And then what did your mom do about the boyfriend?
So my mother didn't play no games. So immediately we called the police. Immediately he was arrested. Immediately we went to trial. Immediately my mother put me in counseling. Immediately I was taken care of.
So what happened to him?
He went to jail.
He did go to jail.
And I don't remember how long he went to jail for. Unfortunately, they don't lock you up for a very long time. Especially, me being a little brown girl, I don't think it really mattered to them much back then, right? Yeah. So So he was put in jail, and I don't know how long, but he definitely was locked up.
Had you ever seen him again?
Not at all.
Ever in your life?
Ever in my life. I wouldn't know who he was if he walked up on me.
Wow. Okay, so you come through that on the other side. Do you have a relationship with your father?
I did. And the reason I say I did, because my father is deceased now.
Okay.
My father was always in my life. I say this, and I say it with the purest, with the most love. My father was not Sweet Honey Iced Tea, but my father was Sweet Honey Iced Tea. Okay. And I mean that. And I say he wasn't Sweet Honey Iced Tea because my father never paid a red cent in child support ever for me. Ever. Never. But every time I went to Cleveland to spend summers with him, you hear me? I spent summers with my father. He made sure I had everything that I needed. And I left with everything I needed till I saw him again.
So you never felt like you lacked something from your dad?
I don't know if I would say that because, of course, you always want more from your father. You want your father in the house. You want your father in the same city, in the same place. I don't know if as an adult, I look back, I'm like, I actually had a pretty decent life. You know what I mean? But, I'm sure at that moment, I probably wanted my father in the house. Like
stepbrothers and stepsisters?
I had plenty. We don't believe in step.
Okay.
So I did have siblings that my father did have that was not with my mom. I don't have a relationship with him. I had an older brother. He went MIA. I don't know. But I didn't have a relationship with my siblings. But my brother and my mother's son is very, very, and I are very close.
But you were raised with him.
I was raised with my mother's son.
It's different because I have a sister that my father had prior to marrying my mother. And she and I are not that close, right? But my brother and I, who had the same mom and dad, of course, before he passed on, my brother passed on in 2019, we were extremely close. So that's just normal when you live in the same home. Okay, so now you go off to Georgia Southern.
Yes.
First job out.
Yes.
How was that?
But let me clear something up though, because the man is dead. I got to make sure.
Go ahead.
So my father, I spent summers with my dad. And like I said, he made sure I had so many. I have a lot of great and fond memories of my father. I remember when I would come up to. First of all, my father, I've never seen him in jeans ever. And my father, as soon as I would land in Ohio, my father would have on an amazing tailor-made suit, and I would have a dress that match. So my father took care of me very well when I was there. I always knew if I couldn't find my father by picking up the phone and calling him, I knew that I can call my grandmother and she would always know where my father was.
You knew you were loved.
I knew I was loved.
See, that's the biggest thing, Kiana, for a child, and especially a little girl, okay? Knowing that you're loved and valued takes you so many different places, and it helps you make decisions differently in dating. We're going to talk about that in a minute, okay? Yes. So we're going to go Georgia Southern.
Yes.
Graduate.
Yes.
First job out. What?
Yes. So I went to Georgia Southern University. I am a Hope Scholarship recipient. Okay. And the reason why I said that is because I think people need to really understand the importance of, one, playing the lottery. Yeah. And two, for those who are in need, there are still it's important that they understand that there is a system that supports those who need help.
Any and everybody can go to school.
Any and everybody can go to school. And here's the thing, everyone didn't come from money. I did not come from money, but I did not know that we were poor. And my mother says this. She says it all the time. She said, "You didn't know we were poor, and your brother did not know we weren't rich." And there's a difference there. My brother, he had a great life growing up. All his friends were country club kids. We built the house that he grew up in. He spent summers away. He went to Africa when he was 5. Like, amazing life. And as did I. Went to Disney World so many times since that he was like, "Look, I'm 10. I've been to Disney World enough. I'm done." You know what I mean? So, I had a good life. I went to Georgia Southern on a scholarship. And I went to take the LSAT, decided that I did not want to go to law school. And it was just one of those things. I was like, I don't know. As a young person, I think it's also important to mention that we put a lot of pressure on them at 17, 18, 19, 20.
To know what you want to do.
To know what you want to do for the rest of your life. I went through multiple majors, multiple classes. I was like, okay, I started off as a programmer. I was going to do computer programming. Then I was going to do this. I was going to do that. And I landed on marketing because it was a general business degree. And I figured at the end of the day, I know a little bit about a lot of things, right? I know a little bit about running a business. I know a little bit about entrepreneurship. I know a little bit about, marketing a business. And that is what I did. So when I graduated, I decided I wanted to take the law LSAT just because I was always passionate about what was going on in the community. I always was very passionate of understanding how the government worked. Then I was like, the LSAT, these people, no, I don't think like them, right?
Right.
And so I ended up getting a job with Sony.
Okay.
And I was in working for the marketing department for Sony. Fantastic opportunity. Amazing job. Amazing money. Amazing. I have no complaints but one. The one complaint was when they transferred my job to California. I didn't know nobody in California.
So you didn't go?
I didn't go.
Oh.
I didn't want to go. I was like, my mama's here. I don't know nobody on the West Coast.
So you didn't stay here for a man, though, right?
I did not stay. What man?
I'm just saying.
Girl,
a lot of times people let things pass by because...
No, honestly, I didn't know anyone in California.
Okay.
But although I was in a long-term relationship, I met my ex. That I
knew a man was somewhere.
No, baby,
was somewhere in the mix.
He was, but let me clear it up with you right now, okay? Because listen, I love that man, and I won't lie to you. I loved him so much, I would have married him on a bike with no socks. You know how crazy in love I had to be?
Where did you meet him in college?
I met him in college.
Okay,
what happened? We fell in love. I was 19 years old. We were together till I was 29. And I'll be honest with you, a long time. I loved him so much. I was so busy looking backwards at how much time I spent, I forgot to turn around and look at how much time I would waste. But this is what my father taught me.
Okay, hold on. 10 years.
10 years.
Formative years.
Yes.
Did you ever watch Kevin Samuels?
Girl, go ahead.
Okay, but everybody can have the...
go ahead. I'm waiting on what you're going to say. Sometimes, every now and then.
Kevin said your best years was 19 to 21. After 21, your prime, 21, 25. After 25, you know how Kevin talked. Was there any part within that time that you said, wait a minute?
I know you ain't tapping the Rolex. Hold on, slow down. So I'll tell you, I did. And the reason, and he proposed to me multiple times, but I'll tell you why I didn't marry him. Okay, so I told you that my father taught me a lot of lessons. My father was sweet honey iced tea, but wasn't sweet honey iced tea. He taught me a lot of things to see in a man. Now, again, he was an athlete. So I thought we was going into the league. You heard me say we was going into the league. Well, he got injured. So there wasn't he didn't have a plan B, but thank God I did. Amen? What I say, he didn't have a plan B, but I did. Right. Which tells you I could have been, what we was doing, I should have been somebody's mama. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But he already had children. So what I was not going to do was put a baby on him, right? Because he already had 2.
1 minute. 2 before y'all met?
2 before me. Girl, yeah.
So, okay, I think the one that happened in between.
He had 2 babies already before we met. But let me also say this.
Okay.
He came from a good family. I cannot bash him. He come from a good family. You know, his grandparents raised him. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about him, but I will say that from 19 years old to 29, I just wasn't sitting there. I dated.
Okay.
I dated good.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I loved him. So I wanted it to work out. I really wanted us to be together. But, hey, sir, you don't have a plan B. What I'm going to do?
But I also, that's why y'all broke up, because technically he didn't have an outlook on what was going to happen.
He didn't know what he was going to do with himself.
Okay, so.
But he did cheat. I mean, what man, athlete, fine, big old man, what man didn't cheat? Right. So what I did not do was.
So that wasn't a breaking. So everybody has their breaking point, right?
I left, but then I won't lie to you, I did go back. But again, what do you do when you're 19 years old?
19,
you're in love,
y'all
you don't know no better.
You don't really, right.
Right.
19 to 29 is very young. Very young.
Part.
So what was the factor so when you said I'm gone to walk away from a 10-year relationship, you guys basically grew up together.
We did.
How did you grab the strength to say I'm gone and
because
not look back?
More. I love me more.
But it's got to be that. That sounds like a Mary Jane on BET. Come on, Kiana, you gotta tell me the truth.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
What's going on?
How?
Okay, keep it.
So. Listen, like I said, I spent a lot of time looking backwards and I forgot to turn around and look forward.
Okay.
I loved him. I would never lie to you about that. But I also loved myself more. I knew. And in that 10-year span, I bought a house. I moved to Houston. I was always moving forward while he was in the same position.
Well, did you find that he was becoming envious of your sister?
I don't know about envious. I just know he wasn't making no progress. I literally lived fences. Have you seen the movie? When she said, I've been sitting here with you. Yes, sir, I'm in here with you. I rolled my sleeves up. I'm in the gym with you.
So you said to yourself, it's something else better out here.
It has to be.
Do you ever regret it?
No.
Never.
No.
Have you ever seen him since then?
I see him all the time. And if I wanted him, I could have him, check. But I don't want him.
Is he married now?
No, I think he's engaged.
Okay.
But no shade. I mean, he got a little...
Yeah, but Kiana said, I'm that girl.
I'm that girl to every man I've ever been with.
So when you see him... heart doesn't flutter.
No.
Nothing.
Hello.
Completely over.
And you all messy, but I like it. This is the thing. I know when I see him, he's still fine, but he ain't. Listen, let me tell you something. What I wasn't able to do back then, and what I can't do now is take fine to the bank. I can't take a bag of fine to the bank. That. I would much rather have an unattractive man that knows his position in my life as a man and the head of the household that is supposed to provide. He's supposed to provide, protect, and cover. I went on many dates, and a guy would ask me, "What do you mean by provide, protect, and cover?" If I got to explain that to you, you're not the man for me.
Not the one.
You're not the one. I should never have to explain to a man that you are supposed to provide. What does that look like? Listen, sir, I'm not a 50-50 female.
Does he have to make more money than you?
I would prefer that he did.
Does he have to?
And let me tell you why.
Because I want people to say yes, no, yes.
Okay, I get it.
Yes.
And let me tell you why I prefer and I want him to.
Okay.
Because to me, I'm a very, very, very aggressive, assertive businesswoman, and I'm always gonna go get. I'm a dog when it comes down to business. I need my man to do that. I don't want.
So you think two alphas can?
I believe two alphas can definitely do it because a woman will yield and she will submit to a man who have a plan.
That's right.
I'm not if I'm out hustling you, if I'm now again, only reason first of all, if I'm in that kind of relationship, my man should like, babe, I got it. And I, in my heart of hearts, trust that he has it. My heart of hearts know that he has it. And the only reason, I say this all the time, the evolution of a strong woman comes because of a weak man. But somebody in her life failed her.
But Kiana, do you find it difficult to date men that you find qualified per your requirements? Do you find it difficult dating? Because most of those type of men don't find alpha women attractive.
It's very difficult dating.
Yeah. So how does that go? How like let's be real about it. Like because they are not looking for alpha women.
I don't know if they're looking for women, period. I don't know what that looks like. Because, I always say here in Atlanta, there's a very, very, very specific dating ecosystem. There's a lot of successful women here. And unfortunately, because, and we having this conversation?
Yeah, Let's have it.
Okay, so in Atlanta, there's a very, very, like I said, specific ecosystem. So you have gay, you have bisexual, right? You have down low. Those men are not an option for me at all, period.
You sure? Because, these millennials are saying they're down to try
I'm real grown. I'm real grown.
They are like, okay.
I'm 44 flat foot and I know what I want. Okay, so they're not an option for me. Okay. Then you got the Molly and the Polly. So who is Molly? Molly is the one who he always high on something, right? We have guys out here who are grown men who are walking in a float in a cloud. Like, what is wrong with you? That's not an option for me. Okay. I don't take pills. If you smoke a little weed, that's fine. And if you
said a little,
but I mean, if your whole day is predicated on,
if you're walking up and I'm smelling it all over you,
sir,
I smell it on the tips of your fingers
and your nails and your lips. No.
Okay.
All right. And Polly, that Polly lifestyle. No, I'm not a sister wife.
I'm not a lot of people
it's a lot
into
of
that. I am shocked at how many people are into this poly
I have
life.
a theory.
What's the theory?
I have a theory. I believe that women have subjected themselves and settled to that because there are not enough quality men. And there are some women who are okay with it. Sis, I salute you, do you. But that's not, first of all, my pH balance ain't normal enough for all that.
Girl.
We use Dove white soap and no perfume or cologne.
That's right. No joke. And by the way, honey pot.
Hey.
Better. Run around here with all these folks floating around here because you don't know what's going on, right?
And since we're going there, bacteria materialize in a woman differently than it does in a man. So if I think somebody, what was it? What's the man with the 12 babies?
Yes, Nick Cannon said it.
80%. No, baby, it's you.
Listen,
you jumping
in and you taking it to this one, to that one.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering, it just made me, when I look at him, I just cry on my face because I'm like, you mean to tell me you run around here these and then I look at all these baby mamas and I'm saying something wrong with these baby. He's saying y'all have a problem.
And what would make you say, you know what, I want to be his 13th baby?
No, right.
No. But I will tell you this also.
But not only that, look at
poly lifestyle is
Diddy,
not for me.
Carisha, and people saying she winning.
I'm about to tell you what the issue is. And
What's
so
the issue?
I just want to drop this little tea on people. You know, you don't always have to go to their doctor all the time if you have an issue. You can get boric acid, the suppositories that will help. And I know it sounds crazy. Fellas don't have a clue what it is to have a vagina. You would never understand this, but your OBGYN will say, instead of coming to see me all the time, if you know it's just like if
something ain't right.
Maybe you can use a consistent boric acid suppository that can help you maintain your especially after your cycle. You know, your pH balance is a little off. You know, your diet changes based on whatever. You can use that to help with yeast and everything. Anyway, I'm not nobody's OBGYN, but I told you I know a little bit about a lot of things. Now, poly. I believe wholeheartedly that poly lifestyle came one, out of boredom. Some women may just be bored. Men just want options. But I also believe it is a lack of numbers. There's not enough men to supply the women. And I'm not saying there's not men out there. Like, there's a man, he's a man, he's a man. I'm saying quality men.
Right.
So you're looking around, if you got all your stuff together and you're a woman, you're single, you're independent, you're financially stable, you're mentally stable, or not, maybe, you know what I mean? You want a man that you can share life with, and he's not available. Now, here's the thing. I was going to say this. So we went through the 5. We said Molly and Polly. We said gay. We said down low. We said gay, down low, and what else did I say?
That's it. Gay, down low,
bye, and Molly and Polly. Then there's the husbands. You know, the husbands run up.
Yeah.
Oh, the husbands are available.
Yes.
They want you to be understanding. They want you to know what's going on. They'll take care of you. And guess what? That husband, because he is a quality man to a certain extent, you already know he marries. But you also know he's not going to leave his wife. He's not going to leave his family. So what has happened with that is it's created a side chick mentality and environment. There are a portion of women who just say, well, you know, he a good man, he take care of me, and I don't want to be by myself. Now, what does that look like? That woman that's willing and able to accept that, she's broken. A woman that will accept anything that a man gives. My father told me that a long time ago. If a man show up broken, he better be willing and able to become whole.
Well,
put in the work.
They celebrate the side chicks because did you see they have a campaign out with crystals called, they have a new little chicken thing called side chick.
And I'm not a fan.
And they said the side chick is better than the main chick or something on the billboard. I was saying, so this is what we doing now?
It is. And you know it's deeper than that. That's the breakdown of the family. And why didn't they use a white girl to do that?
Did you see that?
They used a sister and
they had a sister and she was gorgeous. And it sent a lot of messages in my head. It's also telling the young girls this
it's okay to be a side chick.
Yes.
And you should accept that. And you should allow that. So my father said to me, it's one thing for a man to be broken, but he also has to be in the process of trying to become whole. He has to be willing to go through the process of becoming a better man. So you don't necessarily write him off because he's broken, but where is he in his healing process?
Where is he?
Where is he trying? Is he putting forth the effort? Otherwise, if the man can't show up 100% of himself, that's not the man.
That's not the one. So the ex-fiance, 19 to 29, was that the longest relationship you had been in?
Yes, I would say that.
You think was it the most formative one? Is that the one that you would say, I think back on and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it was. And I will tell you, I have no regrets other than, you know, I probably should have left him a long time ago, but it wasn't like I was just sitting there. We broke up for a year. We got back together. We broke up for 2 years. You know, for 10 years, I was with him. But again, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about men with that particular relationship. But I also would like to say this. In the midst of me being in that relationship, I accomplished a lot of things. I bought a house. I moved to Houston. I traveled. Listen, is that COVID, girl?
No, girl,
don't be coughing, girl. Don't be coughing because I didn't get the COVID.
Okay. I didn't either.
Okay. So, you know, for me, I moved to LA. Girl, left him and one of my girlfriends who was a lesbian in the house that I bought in Houston. I said, look, y'all got 6 months to get your stuff together, but because I'm leaving. When I got laid off from so I didn't tell you. So after Sony, I got laid off because remember my job was moving to California and I did not want to go. So I went to go see my girlfriend in Las Vegas and I was there, just there, girl, partying up, turning up, and she was like, "You've been here for almost 2 weeks. What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, girl, I forgot to tell you, girl, I don't have no job."
Now, is that how you began becoming a comedian?
Absolutely not.
Okay. No.
So she said to me, she said, you don't got a job. I said, no, girl, like they laid me off. I don't know what I'm going to do. She said, girl, send me your resume. So she also went to Georgia Southern University.
Okay.
So I sent her my resume. I interviewed and got the job and had to move to Houston within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I remember because I think when I first saw you doing stand-up, you were in Atlanta, and then and I said you went away. That was when you went to Houston.
I don't
right?
know. No, that's not how it happened. Because I didn't start doing stand-up until Houston. So when I moved to Houston, I started my friend, shout out to her, Demetria Caston, she dared me to do stand-up because I was telling her about all the makeups and breakup stories between me and my ex. We call him Decade. So my Decade love, I was telling her what happened. She was like, girl, this is hilarious. You need to tell this on stage. And I was like, you want to laugh at my misery? She was like, yes, it was funny. So I started doing stand-up while I was in Houston. And then and it's so funny, girl. Why did my boss see me? I did Who's Got Jokes with Bill Bellamy and Rodney Perry. And my boss saw the show. He said, I think I saw you on TV. I was like, you ain't seen me? He was like, yes, I did, girl. Send me a picture. And I did not tell the man I was taking off work. I was all in D.C. working and recording a TV show. And ended up moving, got laid off because they laid off 15% of the team and I was included in that. He figured that I would be okay because I didn't have children, I wasn't married, so they laid me off, and because they had to cut 15% of the team, and then I moved to LA, and so it was like now or never, because at the end of the day, I had plenty of money in the bank, beautiful, nice severance package. Moved to LA, stayed with my girlfriend. I had a brand new BMW outside her house, and I was like, this not gonna work. I got this beautiful drop top outside this house on your couch, sis. I don't live like this. So then 2010 is when I moved back to Atlanta.
Okay, because I think I do remember you pulling up to one of the clubs in that drop top.
Girl, the girl and my BMW.
BM drop top. I remember that because it was a sports one, right? It was beautiful.
Thank you.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
I was like, okay, this Kiana.
This is big Kiana Dancie. Yes, she's doing her thing.
Kiana's doing it. Okay, so then you began comedy.
Yes. So I was already doing comedy when I came back to Atlanta. So because my mother, we moved here when I was 9.
Okay.
So yes, it was 9.
Because you know who I was going to see Katrina Pope.
Yes,
do you remember her?
I do.
Y'all shared a ticket or something, right? And I was going to see her, and then I saw you, and I was like, she is hilarious.
Thank you. Yes, so Atlanta really, really, like I say, gave me my wings because when you do stand up here in Atlanta, it's a different type of energy. It's a different muscle that you work. No matter where you are in the world, they know. Oh, you from Atlanta? I can tell. They, because your stand up is different. It's a different aggression. It's a different type of
and you're
energy.
able to leave your heart on the stage.
Absolutely,
you can leave it all there. Leave it all there because that's how I even knew about all of the stuff that you talked about that you experienced. You are very transparent, and I think those are the best comedians.
Thank you.
But then you began to graduate in show business, right?
Do. Yes.
And you became one of the first talk show hosts.
Yes.
For the nationally syndicated Sister Circle.
Yes.
I was so excited when I heard about the show because we were getting a show. So when all Black women celebrated that. Yeah. And then when they announced that it was in Atlanta, I'm like, yes, opportunity, especially for publicists like myself to get our clients on. Yeah. And then thirdly, when they started unveiling the folks who were selected, and when I saw you, I was like, yes,
it was definitely a bucket list.
I was like, they got this right. And everybody was sending everybody congratulations. If I remember inboxing you probably don't remember saying, congratulations, girl, da-da-da-da. I was so, so, so happy for you and Rashawn and Quad.
And Selena Johnson.
And Selena.
Yes.
Yes. To me, that was the lineup.
And it was a perfect mix of diversity. You know what I mean? I was the single girl with no kids. Quad was married with no children. Of course, Selena and Rashawn, they were both married with children. Selena didn't have girls. Rashawn did. So, it was a very good mix of diversity. And we all had very different backgrounds. I grew up in a household with a single mother. Quad had her both father and, all of them grew up with their mother and father in the household. And, it was just a very interesting, diverse, but it worked.
It did. It worked. I think you guys had a great dynamic. So what happened?
That's funny. I knew you was gonna go. You was going there, girl.
Yeah, what happened?
So
Because I didn't understand, Kiana. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought everything was going well.
Well, I did too. I'll tell you, I was the last to find out that I was not going on to second season. And what I've come to understand that is TV. You know, I took second season promo shots. I thought we were popping.
A minute, they had you taking photos.
They did.
You think they knew then?
Oh, I think certainly they did, because in hindsight, when you look back, I don't know if the girls knew, but I know upper management and the producers.
So they were open to wasting money.
Hey, listen, ma'am. Let me tell you this. I took the second season photo shoots and in the promo shots, and I was very surprised. When I looked around, my outfit didn't match anyone else's, so that didn't make sense.
So you did an escape move. Did you hear about all this drama with Escape?
No.
It was something at the Soul Train Music Awards. Something just happened, and all the girls had on like a nude bling, and then Tamika. There's something going on. Tamika had on. So they're saying that Tamika's trying to do this whole solo Beyonce thing on them again at this grand age that they are, this big age that they are. But they're doing so. They kind of had you different from the rest of the girls.
Well, no one told my stylist what color we were wearing. They said wear whatever.
That's the same thing she said.
Which we
nobody
thought
told her.
It was odd. But I will tell you, I stood there and did my thing.
So did it make it easy for them to edit you out?
Yeah, because what I didn't. Yeah. Yeah, because what
you
they
even
had
think about the poses? Was it poses that was easy to edit you out and put someone else in your?
The way that we posed, it was always easy. But yeah, it was easy to edit me out. But more importantly, they all matched and I didn't. So that was that was the red thumb.
Did that start to ignite something in you? Like, what's going on?
No, I did not know. I promise you, I did not know until nobody said anything to me, until what I was trying to do is get time off to shoot a movie for BET. And then I kept asking my producer, I need the time off. And that is when she told me.
Wow.
So, I mean, it is what it is. TV is what, TV does that. And, you're there, you may be their sweetheart today and not their sweetheart tomorrow. And which is fine with me, because I learned so much about myself. I learned a lot about the girls. I learned a lot about the industry. At the end of the day, it was an amazing run for me. It was a beautiful experience. And I know for a fact that it's not the end for me.
And you also have to know, too, that when one chapter is closed doesn't mean that's it. It just means that the expiration is there and it's time for you to move on to something else. I remember seeing, I was, really bummed out when I saw, but I was happy for my girl Trina. Congratulations, Trina, for that. But I was bummed out about what happened with how it happened. But then I saw the great announcement. You then opened up. You became a franchise owner, right?
Yes.
And so I was celebrating. You don't realize how many people are on the back end celebrating and rooting for you and wanting to see you succeed.
Yes. Thank you.
So tell me about your franchise.
So before I say that, I want to say this. I want to kind of tie that up in a nice little bow.
Okay.
I want to say, I thank Tegna, who is the owner of Sister Circle, and even I forgot her name, so let me just leave that out. The producer, I would say I thank them because they gave me the opportunity to come on live TV to say goodbye to my viewers, which is unheard of. They don't do that. Yeah, I am very, very gracious for that.
That says a lot about you.
Yes, and I was very gracious because there was no telling what I could have said. Right, and I just was really honored that I had the opportunity to say goodbye to my viewers, and because oftentimes you'll watch a show and it's just like poof, gone. You know what I mean?
Did you cry?
I did not. I kept it together. And I'm a crybaby, for those that don't know. I'm really a crybaby. My eyes are always swelling up. But I was very, very happy to be able to say goodbye. And I held my head high. And I knew what was going on as far as I was being let go. But I did not know why. Right? And I would never know why. I also didn't know who knew. And that doesn't even matter.
Did that hurt you, though? That you feel like you were the only one in the room?
Of course it hurt. Of course it would hurt. But what I was fully aware of, and I always will be aware of, I am God's child, and every door that was meant to be open for me will always open. Period.
Do the girls still check on you?
I don't hear from anyone other than Rashawn every now and then. I did see Quad a couple months ago, and it was cordial. It was good. She spoke, we hugged, and it was it.
But did you guys talk a lot before then anyway?
We did. We spoke often.
So
but
that has to hurt. A little.
No, because, you know, some people are in your life for a season. And some people are in your life for a reason. So I believe that season and those reasons they're gone. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I love them regardless. I see them. I hey, bye. I have no ill will towards anyone.
I believe that people can just decide to relationships can be where and not have beef.
Yeah,
why do we have to have beef about everything, right?
I believe people think that Black women can't just let things go. And I see, and you know, it's funny, I have a mutual friend, her name is Cherie, who's friends with Trina. And I went to a fundraiser to see Trina all the time. Just spoke to Tawanda. Listen, let me tell you something. Life is so short. I don't have the energy or even the desire to be mad at anybody about anything.
Well, you can't be mad at, first of all, Tawanda's like a sister to me, right?
Yeah.
But you can't be mad at them anyway because all Trina did was take an opportunity that was given to her.
Yeah.
Right. She didn't do anything. Yeah. And the reality of it is, and even from the producer's perspective, they had to have had some reason as to why they did what they did. Whether we agree with it or not, they had to make the difficult decision. And sometimes we just can't.
Yeah, and we don't have to like it.
I mean,
I was told on record, off record, it was about the social media numbers. Listen, sis, I don't know. I don't care. All I know is it was an amazing opportunity.
It was an amazing time while it lasted,
it was.
Right?
And I wish everybody from the top, bottom, north, left, right, I wish all of them the best of luck.
Okay, so CPM, right?
CPR. Yep.
Let's talk about it. How did you become a franchise owner?
So, you know, my mom worked for LG. My brother also worked in the industry, and I worked for Sony and Samsung. And so my mother was asking me, she was like, Kiana, we really need to think about opening up a business. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And we went through multiple businesses, you know, from different franchises and different organizations. None of us wanted to cook, so it wasn't going to be a restaurant. Staffing agencies, trucking companies, Amazon. And it kind of landed on CPR cell phone repair because I break my phone all the time. All the time my screen is broken. And I was spending $300 a pop on every time I was replacing my screen. And so my mother came upon CPR cell phone repair. And she was actually doing all the research because she had back surgery. So she was at home. She was like, girl, I don't know about going back to work. I said, well, find a business, right? And she came upon CPR repair, and then we researched it. We visited the organization. We bought into the organization and realized that my mom and I are the only single Black women to own within the company.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So how has the ride been so far?
You know, it's been up and down. We had a location in Marietta at one time.
Kennesaw, right?
Kennesaw.
Yeah.
Kennesaw, but Bear Parkway.
Because I live up in that area, and I remember when you made that.
Bunny.
And I remember when you made that announcement, I was like, okay.
Yes.
Up in my neck woods.
And your neck of your woods, right. And so we're now, and thank God, we have one location now. It's in Duluth. It's 2 minutes away from my home. I literally can walk. It's a blessing. Business is up, business is down, like with anything, right? We had to really pivot during the pandemic because our business is we have to, it's a touch.
It's a touch.
It's
touch feel.
So we implemented a lot of things like curbside service. We did the drop off and pick up so that people did not necessarily have to come into the store. You know, right now is the time where business is down. Anytime it's about to come up based on the holidays. People are starting to spend money because I don't just repair phones. I sell things. I sell phones. I sell PlayStations, Xboxes, any kind of mobile device that you want. I can get it for you.
What do you think about this latest election that we just came through? As a business owner, how does this impact you?
You know, I understand, and my mother's going to kill me when I say this. I understand the attraction to a Trump. I do. You know, as a business owner, people who are, you know, concerned about their bottom line, about their taxes, how much money they get to keep and bring home, and the loopholes they get to avoid to pay taxes. But at the end of the day, I'm not a franchiser at home when I'm looking across the table at my family. So, you know, I get it. I know that it's all about the bottom line. So for me, I was very disappointed. Let's just be clear. I was very disappointed about Stacey Abrams losing. I do. When I talk to a lot of people who...
Were you disappointed because she she was a black woman, or were you disappointed because of the platform in which she said?
All of it.
Okay.
I'm very disappointed with the fact that she was a black woman and she would have been the first. I'm disappointed with the fact that she's a Democrat because I am a Democrat. I'm disappointed with the fact that she is open to and was willing to legalize marijuana. I am disappointed because she stands on the same side of the fence as I do when it comes to women's rights. I am disappointed that she fights for the small person, whether that's black, blue, orange, or green, white, or yellow. She fights for the small person.
What was your biggest challenge with Kemp?
Kemp to me, oh Lord, I understand, and a lot of people won't like this, but I get that, the Second Amendment is important. You should be able to bear arms. You should. But everybody does not deserve to carry a gun. You need to be sound in the mind. You need to be emotionally responsible, and you need to carry a firearm. See, back in the day when we were coming up, and I assume you're at least in your 40s, or I assume, I don't know, maybe poorly, but we used to fight. Remember, we'll pull our hair back and we'll put some Vaseline on our face and we'll fight, and even give you a time and a place to come fight.
That's right.
Nowadays, you don't do that. The first thing they do is pull out a gun, because why? Why? Because we don't have the emotional intelligence. We don't understand the repercussions when you pull out a gun. First of all, you're hot-headed. We're already frustrated. Many of us are walking around here as powder cakes, ready to combust into dust, and we're angry, and we're bringing all of this shameless plug, all this baggage from our past into the room and into our fights, opposed to let's talk it out, let's settle it a different way, let's settle it like adults. So it's very disappointing, and I don't like the fact that everybody is able to walk around with a gun on their hip.
Because you saw what happened in UVA, right?
It makes me nervous.
And this is the thing that makes me nervous about what happened in UVA is, and the part that nobody wants to talk about
Let's talk about it.
What happened in UVA was not the cops mistreating our boys. What happened in UVA was a black male that shot up and killed 3 other black men on a predominantly white university.
Campus. Yes, and he injured 2 others. One is in critical condition, and one is, I think they not critical but stable. Here's the thing about that. There was a time when you hear crimes like that, we used to be able to say, these white people crazy.
Yep.
Just to be clear. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me. Just keep it 100. If y'all don't know this, if y'all don't know what your viewers look like, but I'm going to tell you, that's what we used to say. Now, we almost have to, we do say, let me see the picture.
Right.
Because
you pause.
And you say, let's see the picture. And the reason why that is, again, we are as a people, and I'm going to say we, people, period. Let me say that. We're under so much pressure. We're under so much pressure from life, home, work, whatever lacks, your lack of income, your lack of support, whatever that is and whatever that looks like to you, there's a lot of pressure to sustain yourself under that pressure. And what's happening is there's nowhere to turn.
Mental illness is an all-time high.
Mental illness
and I believe a lot of it just exploded during the pandemic.
Right, because people were, first of all, you're isolated, and you're isolated with your own voices in your head. You're isolated with your own issues. And now you don't have an outlet because they're telling you, whoever and I am one who said, hey, I ain't going out there. I don't want it. I didn't get COVID. So I don't want to go outside and play with the people. So I'm okay staying in my house. I was very comfortable.
I'm an introvert anyway.
No, I'm not. I'm extrovert, but I'm very okay being in my house. I like my house, very comfortable house.
Yeah, but you got to make your house comfortable.
Listen, you got to make your house and your whole world comfortable. Excuse me. I think the other issue is a lot of people were looking to social media as a confirmation, and what they fail to realize, social media is social lies. Everybody is lying. They're not living their life that grand. They don't have that much money. Her butt ain't that big. Her hair ain't that long.
The waist ain't that small.
Her face ain't that big. She's lying. He's lying. That's not his car. That's not. And he paid for that girl. Like all of it is a lie. If you're living your life to that as a standard, you're already putting yourself in a situation which you can't win. Because now you're comparing. First of all, Kim Kardashian looked the way that she do because all she do is work on herself.
That's it. And it takes hours before she goes out to take her first picture and then scraps 99% of them before they can even remember that one guy lost his job for posting Chloe's picture. Edit. So people are putting themselves up against those high standards and can't hold up
unattainable standards.
Unattainable
so
standards.
And you mentioned mental health, and I want to make sure I say this. Y'all gonna be mad at me. All of it, everybody ain't crazy.
Some people are purposefully doing this, right?
Some people do it because they just want to. And I guess
don't care no more.
And don't care anymore. Don't have any regard for anyone.
And don't have nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. And see, what's very unfortunate about the young man, he was an honor roll student who shot up those people.
And they said he skipped off the bus. I said, what the hell?
Yeah.
Kiana, he skipped off the bus.
And that's what's so sad. Like, what brought you to that breaking point?
And I can't imagine what those parents got. They got that
They're going
call.
through. And another thing I would like to say, if there's any coaches or coaches' wives that are listening, if you have because my brother played football and he lost his scholarship because he got injured. And here's the thing. Oftentimes when you lose something that has always been your you, as an athlete, as I'll go so far as say a police officer, if you only been able to identify yourself by what you do, I think it's important that we understand that there needs to be something in the system that helps people, deal with that. So that young man, from what I understand, he was on the team but wasn't playing, or something was going on. He may have had a break, like a mental break, where he's like, if I'm not going to play ball, what am I going to do?
Titles.
You affirm yourself by how people look at you and how people view you and perceive you, and how you look and perceive yourself. So now that you don't play ball, what are you? Who are you?
Who am I? Yeah. Am I even still...
Yeah. Am I still relevant? Am I still worthy? And see, that's why I think it's important that coaches, you have to coach up your boys. Coach up your girls.
Most of these coaches, though, I think they're just thinking about...
They're about the win.
They're about the win because they're about their dollars. And their dollars are tied to the win.
And that is why... So you can't leave it just with the coaches. It's important that the moms and the dads and the community come around these young men and these young women and let them know that you are more than that football player. You're more than that volleyball player. You're more than that baseball player. Whatever sport you play or whatever it is that you do, that you identify yourself as.
Because the reality is, Kiana, these kids are commodities.
They are.
They are as good as they bring the dollars to the university. Yes. And once they no longer... Because if you really cared about the kid... Once the child was injured because they were playing your sport, you would not take their scholarship from them. That's
true. And you have to remember this also, but it's reciprocal. So the athlete is pulling in just as much as I won't say just as much, but the opportunity, the yield for the athlete, it could be just as much as the school.
It could be. It's still a risk.
It's still a risk. But it is. So it's a give-take situation.
It's a give.
But yes, I will put the onus on the university to do more. I will put the onus even on the coaches to do more.
When I think about mental health, I also think about the mission that you created, Baggage Claim, right?
Yes.
So how did you get into mental health? What was it that said, I need to do something more here?
So I'm a product of the couch. I've always been on the couch. My mother put me in counseling when I was 6 years old. I've always had a therapist. My best friend's ex-best friend mother was a psychiatrist. So it'll be times she's like, do we need to have a session? Yes. Let's talk about what's going on. I'm having some troubles today. So, I wrote a book called Bye Bye Bags, Laughing to Lighten the Load, where I discuss healing myself whole through laughter. And I'll be honest, that's all I can do is be honest with you. This didn't start deep, sis. This started with me sitting there. Listen, I had plastic surgery.
Okay, what kind? Okay, let's talk about what you had done.
I got the bags under my eyes removed. I got them from my father. My father I inherited bags from my father.
They did a good job because I don't see it.
Girl, I used to tell my daddy
all I had done.
And
so wait a minute.
Hold on. I got it done on the show.
But
I got my breasts done when I was my breasts reduced when I was 17 years old.
No tip on the stomach?
No, girl.
No light?
That is badly good.
Girl. So,
anyway,
so nothing else. So you went and had all that done. No little BBLs back there?
Listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Okay, go on,
so
tell
here.
me.
So I got the bags under my eyes removed on a show called Atlanta Plastics.
Ah, I remember that show.
So Dr. Wright Jones did the bags under my eyes. And as I was laying in my bed, listening, couldn't do nothing but heal. Had bandages on my eyes. I was talking to God, having a very petty conversation. I said, God, I need you to make sure I heal good. I want my eyes to be the same size. I want my bags to be gone. I want you to, now when I heal, I'm going to be prettier and I'm going to be funnier and I'm going to look younger and I'm going to kill these hoes. That's what I said. And God said, ma'am, You're going to be prettier and you're going to be funnier, but you're ugly on the inside. Boom! Who you talking to, God? Who you calling ugly? You. He didn't hesitate, and he didn't stutter. I said, what you talking about? He said, you can be rude, you can be inconsistent, you can be short, you can be passive, you can be too aggressive with some people sometimes, and you also can be dismissive. You need to fix it because I don't like it. And I was like, but what? I don't like it. But I don't like it. So I said, okay. So I called my mother. I said, Mom, I need you to come up here. I said, I need you to do me a favor. So I knew I needed to do the work. While I was laying there healing from my external baggage, I knew that I needed to work on my internal baggage. I believe wholeheartedly that your internal baggage is unresolved issues that you, one, either refuse to resolve, right, or and address, or two, really that's it. You refuse to address them, and they have not been resolved. You have got to let it go. So I called my mother in. I said, Mommy, I need you to do me a favor. She said, what? I said, I need you to write down 3 things. So I had her write down one thing that reminded me of an insecurity, one thing that reminded me of a failure, and one thing that reminded me of a shortcoming. When she wrote it down, when I was able to get up, I tore it up. When I tore it up, I burnt it up. Why? Because now that I wrote it down, I acknowledged it. Now I tore it up because it's trash to me. I'm done with it. And then I burnt it up because now, biblically, fire has a representation of starting anew. Just like when you go into the forest, they burn the underbrush so the new can grow. They get rid of the weeds and all the junk that's stopping the new growth from coming.
So the ladies are coming there with baggage.
So the book,
okay,
it's called Bye Bye Bags, Laughing to Lighten the Load. I laid in my bed after healing, wrote the book, boom, 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 boom. Now I said to God, now what? He said baggage claim. See, I can't tell you to get rid of your emotional bags that you have not acknowledged that you have. My book says get rid of your baggage, but what if
have you gotten rid of yours?
Oh, girl, yes.
It's all gone.
I'm healed, happy and whole.
I'm glad to hear
when I show
that.
up, I'm present.
Because let me tell you something, Kiana. A lot of people that are out here saying they're going to fix people, they still out here dealing with what they trying to fix.
They dealing with their drama and their trauma and their junk. So let me tell you, the reason why you got to get rid of your emotional baggage so that you can get some luggage. See, emotional baggage shows up. Sometimes emotional baggage shows up as your eating habits. You know, you show up, you're pulling your hair, you're pulling out your lashes. All kind of things that happen that you are not even accounting for. You're like, what's wrong with me? You got daddy issues. You can't keep a man because you treating him like trash because you making somebody else pay for what somebody that's in your present pay for what happened to you in your past. It's not his responsibility. You have to show up. Even like I said before, even if you are broken, you have to be in the process of still working on you. Being a work in progress is a good thing.
It is.
It's a good thing. But when you're denying it, when you're saying, I'm good, ain't nothing wrong with me, and you're lying to you and everybody around you, that is the problem.
But you do know that I would say 95% of the population, they're unable to self-reflect. Most people find issue with people around them and blame everybody else versus saying, what could I have done differently
and better?
And I find that the winners are the ones who take full responsibility, and those who blame others are the people who struggle.
So let me tell you this. I believe that every person on this planet, black, white, blue, green, orange, live in a hut, a house, a mansion, live in a boat, live in a tent, wherever you live, need counseling.
That's right.
You need counseling, especially people of color. We went through a traumatic experience. We, as a people, went through some traumatic experiences. Even if I wasn't picking the cotton, but my my great-great-great-great-grandmother did. And whatever trauma she may have, whatever trauma was impeded on her has went down the line. And I believe wholeheartedly that in order to deal with that, you have to address it. That is why I subscribe to PCP. PCP, what is that? First of all, P is prayer. You know, we good for saying pray. Oh, baby, you just need to pray. Yes, pray. But the words say, if you pray and don't do the work, it's dead. Prayer without works is dead. You got to do the work. And what does that look like? Couch. You got to get on the couch. You got to talk to a professional that's going to help you unpack the baggage that you carry. Because oftentimes, like you just said, you can't always look in the mirror and say, I messed up, I've been through something. No, you need somebody to help you say, you know what, that might be this. Or have you thought about this? Or consider it this way. Or here's another option. And then P. P stands for prescription. Now, I'm not an advocate, and I never have been on a prescription, but I'm not an advocate for a doctor who just puts you on something. So I would definitely say that, go to get a second opinion. But if you need somebody or a prescription to help you deal with your anxieties, if you are bipolar and you're struggling, that is what's wrong with Kanye right now, from what I understand. He's not taking his medicine.
Oh,
so
no,
they
you brought
said.
up my boy. You brought up my boy.
They said he not. I don't know.
I think Kanye thinks differently. He's outspoken, and we call him crazy. I just think he thinks differently. We don't have to agree with everything he says, Kiana. Just because we don't agree with him does not make this man crazy.
You know what the definition of crazy is?
Doing the same thing over and expecting something different.
Right. So he keeps having the same types of outbursts. He's doing the same thing.
But I don't know that he's expecting anything different. I think he's just going to continue to talk until somebody listens.
That's the definition of crazy. He keep doing it over and over again. He might not be expecting it to be different, but we're hoping it'll be different for him. But what I'm saying to you is, I'm not necessarily saying the man is crazy. I believe there's a fine line between being genius and crazy.
I do too. I think people who are geniuses, people think are crazy.
Yes.
Because they're different.
Yes,
they think different. They process different. They think outside of the box.
They are. And he is.
And being in media, you know this. You can't subscribe to what the media says about you.
You cannot, but also...
Or others.
But here's the issue with Kanye, and I don't know the man. I'm just saying that there are certain things you can and cannot do. There are certain things you should and should not do.
Who said that?
The people that control your purse strings.
Right, but this man is saying... You can take $2 billion from me, and I'm still gonna say what I gotta say.
And if he don't care, he don't care. I don't care.
I gotta give respect to somebody who's not allowing the dollar bill to stop him from being able to speak his mind.
I respect the man.
I mean, because everybody's not driven by the money.
I respect the man. I do. I'm only saying to you that it's been noted that Kanye is bipolar.
Noted by who?
The man doctor. I'm just saying. I read what the people say. Now I'm saying
again, what the people say.
Now and from what I understand, from what I understand, he has also said that I'm bipolar. So my thing is, whatever his struggles are, and that's like I said, you need to subscribe to PCP, prayer, couch, and a prescription.
Right
now. Again,
but you gotta be careful who you allowing to push that prescription, because
didn't I just say that?
Because you heard him when he said they keep trying to medicate him to shut him up. You saw that.
That's why
too, right?
And again, hear me clearly. You have to have a relationship with a doctor that you care about. That is another thing in our community. When I first came in, I said that we're dropping dead. There are comedians. I think I've lost maybe 7 or 8 comedians in my community because we're not taking care of our health. We look good on the outside. Everything's shiny and everything new. You ain't been to the dentist since you know when. You haven't been to to get a physical. You don't know what the state of your blood pressure or your cholesterol is. So you're dropping dead and then you blaming it. Oh no, he don't know what the state of his life is. His lungs is toe up because he smoked all day.
When they said, because a lot of people who died from COVID, they was like, I didn't have any pre-existing issues. You didn't know that you had pre-existing issues. You didn't go to the doctor.
Yes. So, I really believe that wholeheartedly that we need a mental check. We all need to know what's going on with us physically and mentally. Just like you go to the doctor, or matter of fact, as much as you go get your nails done and get your hair done, you should be going to go get a physical. You should have a PCP, and you should have a therapist or a tribe that can help you unpack your bags. Now, what does that look like? Unpacking your baggage so that you can get some luggage. Your baggage is going to hold you down. You need luggage, sis, so you can go on a vacation, staycation, a little vacation. You want to move. You want to see the world. You want to be free of all the things that has held you down and back from becoming the best you. That's what this is. Baggage claim is a safe place for women to come to claim, release, and heal from the emotional baggage that they carry. There will be a room full of women who have been through what you're going through, or who was on the beginning side of their healing, or in the middle of their healing, or on the tail end of their healing. There will be a room full of counselors and therapists. There's a poet, a singer, and a panel of mental health professionals and others who can help you understand that not allowing yourself to heal emotionally from the baggage that you have carried can hinder you in the mind, body, and soul.
That's right.
And your spirit. Understand this. It's a choice. We all have to make the decision. I'm not going to be held captive by that no more. Do you understand if my mother had not put me in counseling and therapy as a child, I could not have grown up to be sexual. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Girl, I ain't doing nothing now, but when I do, you understand what I'm saying?
Now.
So I'm saying there is all of that. Women and men alike need to understand that you're not the bags that you carry. We all have been through something, but it does not have to define your future.
It does not have to define you. So what's next, Kiana?
Come on. Baggage Claim ATL is December 17th.
Okay, but by the time this airs,
yes.
it would have already, because you're
okay. So December 17th. So what's next? I am planning on taking Baggage Claim worldwide.
Okay.
So Baggage Claim worldwide is a thing. So we're going to Baggage Claim NYC. It's based on the airport code. So NYC, PHX, CHI. We have LAX.
So how would they find out? Is there a website?
It is. Honey, go to my website for right now, girl. Go on down to KianaDancie.com. KianaDancie. They also can follow me on all things social: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I am the same thing on everything. KianaDancie.
The bomb, y'all.
Yes.
The bomb.
Make sure y'all get my book too. If you can't come to the event, they can get my book everywhere: Amazon, Target, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles. If you get on my website, it's autographed.
And I'm telling y'all, Kiana is amazing.
Thank you,
She
sis.
is the same at all times.
Yes,
so you don't
ma'am.
have to worry about her being different.
Thank you.
She is doing big things. I'm so proud and so thankful for having you here today. And we will see you next time on Coinology. Thank you.
You ain't getting no money if you constantly worried about what everybody else got to say. If you constantly got your eyes on what everybody else doing, you ain't getting no money. When it comes down to closing a deal, I get it done. Every single one.